Y'all remember back in 2020 when the world said, "World stop," and then y'all tried to carry on? I think that burnout is such a huge issue right now and such a hot topic because y'all remember back in 2020 when the world said, "World stop," and then y'all tried to carry on? I think that the world stopped and people actually realized and had time to realize, have that self-awareness that one, we were running on a constant hamster wheel. I was watching a documentary not too long ago on like another country. I forgot which one it was. I don't know if it was Thailand, Japan. They prioritize mental health. They prioritize spending time with your family. They prioritize like making sure the lifespan is optimized as much as possible. In the United States, we work. Some people work 7 days a week. Some people work 6 days a week. We just go, 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 go. In New York City, if you're in New York now, if you're watching from New York, California, Atlanta, Dallas, some of the bigger cities, metropolitan areas, people work because they have to, because things are so expensive. The height of the inflation, everything that's going on. In some of these other countries, things are way more affordable. But I think that COVID stopped and then the world tried to carry on. People are just like, but I don't want to carry on, which is why a lot of people decided, hey, I'm gonna open up my own business. You know, I'm gonna work for myself. I'm not working for the man because I want to live life on my own terms and I want to live life for me. But for the people who did say, okay, well, I'm happy to get up out the house, let's go back to work, let's give it a whirl, we are seeing those people show up to the offices, in offices like mine, and complain of, I feel fatigued, I'm having headaches, I just don't feel like myself, maybe I'm depressed. And that very well could be, or you could just be burned out from how much we take on as human beings. I don't think people realize how much we were taking on before the pandemic versus, and even during the pandemic, for a lot of people, it was a rough time for us all. I'm not going to even lie. I'm not even going to sit here and try and downplay it. It was a scary time because no one knew the future or how we were going to get up out of that, if we were ever going to get out of that. Then afterwards, everybody's like, oh, finally, now we can get back to normal. The truth is, there is no normal. There's a new normal, and it's post-pandemic, and we just have to learn how to navigate it, such as setting boundaries, such as the tips I'm about to give you today. So before we get into what we can do about burnout, let's talk about what causes it. So we talked about the world stopping, the world carrying on, how we feel like we're running on a hamster wheel. Well, let me list off a couple of more things. Let's go a little bit deeper about some of the things that could be causing you to feel burnt out, tapped out, checked out, not interested. So one of the main things is just setting unrealistic goals for yourself. Remember in school we learned SMART goals and setting those, but I think that some of our goals are just not SMART. And we can't hit that T, which is the timeline, the time that we need to be able to accomplish it. We take the time and go down to here and be like, if I can just run 20 miles in 2 seconds, I'll be fine. I think a lot of us can be real unrealistic about how much time we really need to do a thing. We're just like, I'm superhuman. If I try hard enough, if I put my mind to it, I know I can do these 20 things in one day. And that's just not realistic. That's one of the reasons you probably feel burned out. Another reason is if you do go to work 9 to 5 and you lack autonomy, if you lack control of the environment that you work in, that could feel like another reason you feel burnt out, especially if your orders, your expectations, company policy, if all these things are weighing on you heavily and you feel like you work for a company that tries to spread you real thin, then that could be another reason why you feel very burned out. If you lack support from your colleagues, from your family, from your friends, and you feel like no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you put your best foot forward, you're still not being recognized for the things that you are doing, that could, first of all, hurt your ego inside because they're not supporting you, but also nobody likes lacking recognition. The people who said, I don't need validation from other people, but as human beings, we all need at least a smidget of validation. Another reason could be you're having unclear conflict, unclear responsibilities, or unclear relationships. You could have some unethical things going on in your life or in the workplace that's causing conflict, that causes you to have to take work home with you or take personal life with you into work. And it's really weighing on you mentally, for some people physically as well. You could be experiencing a major life change or a major trauma, trying to cope with the aftermath of a major trauma. Burnout can manifest in many, many, many ways. One of the most common things I hear is, I have a headache, I can't sleep, I feel tired, or people show up with frequent sickness a lot, because when you're stressed out, it weighs your immune system down. And so it's just more space and opportunity for you to contract more viruses, illnesses, whatever that may be. You can also, just like you have physical symptoms, you can also have emotional symptoms such as irritability, anxiety, depression, anger. So just like you have, again, physical, we have also emotional symptoms, irritability, sadness, anxiety can all be signs that you are burned out. You can also have cognitive symptoms such as trouble concentrating or judgment, remembering stuff. How often do you walk into a room and forget what you came in for? I know that's pretty common, but it could also be a sign of absent-mindedness, or it could point to something more. You can also have behavioral symptoms such as procrastination, lack in performance or attention to detail, and also it can further move on, and this is down the line, but substance abuse. People do utilize alcohol, marijuana, different substances to help relax them or to help cope with whatever it is that may be going on in the workplace or at home, or just stress in general. Some people have social symptoms in which they isolate and withdraw from other people. You might have a person that you've tried to get in contact with, or they tried to get in contact with you, and you have yet to reply, and it's been several days. You just don't feel like being bothered. You're tapped out, again, checked out. Pay attention to these symptoms and when they occur. And last but certainly not least, you can have spiritual symptoms. I know y'all are like, what? Spiritual symptoms? But yes, you feel like you lost your purpose, your passion, or your motivation. That's really, really, really key. Ideal, y'all. Everything is just spiraling and you're like, what am I even supposed to be doing this? Like, is this still my purpose, my passion? I don't even know anymore. That's how you know when you do not get any joy out of what you're doing. Your passion starts to become more of a hassle. Yeah, it's probably time for you to consider that maybe you are burned out. If you identify with any of the symptoms, whether it be physical, emotional, social, spiritual, whatever it may be, I would urge you to consider evaluating yourself, going to get an evaluation. A one-on-one with yourself and being honest with yourself and saying, I am experiencing these things, but I do not have to suffer. Even if I just get help for the time being, it's worth it to me. My mental health is important, and I'm gonna go talk to someone. If you feel more inclined to go the therapy route first, great, because therapy is great. If your therapist also refers you to a psychiatrist or a mental health professional, I think it's worth an evaluation. Can't nobody make you take or do anything that you don't want to do. But when you're talking about yourself and your own mind and your own sanity, I think that it's worth it to go get an evaluation. It costs you nothing to sit and get an evaluation and a recommendation from a professional. Think of it as if you have strep throat, you're not going to go get elderberry to protect you from catching rheumatic heart disease. from having untreated strep throat and different things like that. You're going to go to a doctor, you're going to go get swabbed, and you're going to go get put on antibiotics. Mental health is no different. A lot of people think that they can just patch themselves back up, and sometimes you can, but sometimes it's very important to realize when you can't. So when we were in PA school, we learned that stress can actually kill you. Burnout can cause cardiovascular issues, immune system disorders. I'm pretty sure autoimmune is in there somewhere. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure of it. Autoimmune is in there somewhere. Obesity, diabetes, because sometimes when people are stressed, they eat more, binge eating, different things, who knows. But when your mind isn't right, your body follows. And to prevent yourself from digging a deeper hole, it's worth it to go get an evaluation. And I think if we can conclude from this video, it's your mental health is so important. Don't ignore it. Please don't ignore it. Please don't listen to the stigma. Please don't allow anybody else's thoughts on you getting an evaluation deter you from getting one. To focus on ourselves this year, and I'm on a mission to make sure you focus on you this year as well. We'll get through this together, because I'm going to be creating content like this more often and encouraging you to be your best self no matter what it is that we have to do to get there. We'll do it together. Okay, so some things that you can do to cope with this burnout. We talked about the things that could cause burnout, the things and the signs to look out for. Now we're going to talk about what can we do to cope. Well, we've already recognized the first big one, which is seeking professional help, whether that be therapy or medication. The second thing that you can do, setting healthy boundaries with those people that you work with the people that you lived with, and every relationship that you have. Setting boundaries with others to let them know what your limits are, what your capacity is. Maybe you don't have the capacity to stay at work for 12 hours. Maybe we have to consider going to get an 8-hour job. Whatever that may be, set that boundary. Another thing that we need to do this year is make sure that we take our PTO. We take our breaks. You need to recharge. You are a human and not a robot. Practice self-care. You can do self-care once a week, twice a week, or every single day. Do something that you enjoy, something that brings you joy, something that exercises your brain or your body, or maybe do nothing at all. Just lay in the bed and just be like, this is all that I can take right now. This is the cap of my capacity, and this is what I can do. That you're into, take time to do those things. It's important. Make sure that you seek social connection and support. There is nothing more powerful than a best friend, a good family member, a close relationship, whether that be your parents, your grandparents, someone close to you, near and dear, that you can just go have a girls' day with, a girls' night. You deserve to get out, let your hair down. The last thing, but certainly not least, is finding a meaningful connection again in the work that you do. If the burnout is caused by work, we need to reconnect what our goals are. We need to revisit our why. We need to recreate that passion that you had in the first place when you were enjoying work, and what it was like and what it felt like for you. We need to make that connection again. Burnout is a serious problem and one that needs to be addressed. It's very, very, very important that you recognize the signs and the symptoms of burnout, know when to get help, get the help, the necessary changes you need to make to get back going again. We don't want to stay stuck in burnout, because we just talked about the things that burnout could cause. We want to acknowledge it, do something about it, and figure out what our plan is moving forward. Thank you for watching this video. And if you found it helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and tune in for my next video coming soon on more mental health topics, and me, of course, being your mental health bestie. I'll see you later. Bye.